Namaste and welcome. It's Rishi here from meditatewithrishi.com, and today we are going to speak about a really important topic, anger, and try to answer the question, can an angry person change? Okay, so if you're watching this video, I'm sure you very well know that we could all do without anger. You and me would be much happier. Our families would be much happier. The entire planet without anger would just be one happy place, right? But this is something that we have never been taught how to deal with. So over the next couple of days, I'm going to be speaking about this in depth. So today we're going to look at, can somebody change, right? So to understand that, we need to understand, why do we get angry in the first place, okay? So what I'm sharing with you today comes from the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Buddhist monk and, constant radiator of peace. He's a peaceful activist, but he is one of the leaders and teachers one of the few that really radiates peace. It just oozes out of him. So if you're interested in peaceful living, right, which I hope you are, I highly recommend that you check out his YouTube channel. There are tons of teachings there. I will link the channel in the description box below, okay? All right, so let's get to it. Why do we get angry in the first place? So I'm going to share with you a really simple illustration of our mind or our consciousness, essentially, okay? So this top part is our mind consciousness, and this bottom part is the store consciousness, okay? So very simply, you can say this is a conscious mind and this is the subconscious mind, essentially. So the subconscious mind essentially drives 90% of our behavior, our actions, our thoughts, right? So this subconscious mind has a store, which is why store, has a store of seeds, essentially. So in yogic philosophy, they're called samskaras, okay? So we have a seed. All of us have these different seeds in here. The seeds are the remains of any past experience that we have had, anything that has come in through our senses, whether it's a traumatic event or something you've scrolled on social media, it leaves essentially a seed in us, okay? So we all have, let's say a seed of anger, a seed of love, a seed of joy, a seed of mindfulness. Yes, we even have a seed of mindfulness, right? And compassion. So this is just a brief example, right? There's many more seeds that we all have, but these are the ones we need for today's example. So these seeds essentially are what come up and become a thought, a prevailing thought in the mind. And that thought becomes your, word and action that you take, right? So how angry somebody gets simply depends on how big is their seed of anger, okay? How big is the seed of anger? So how does the seed grow big? By watering it, right? The more we water something, the bigger it becomes. So if somebody has, either gone through a lot of trauma, like let's say, they've faced a lot of anger, right? And it's stored in them. That is one way that the seed of anger can become big. So let's say you were a child and for any small thing, your dad or your mom would constantly shout at you. And this can actually be stored as a seed of anger because that emotion has come into you, right? Another way is obviously by expressing it, right? So anytime you have a small kind of irritation and you express it as anger, then again you are watering the seed of anger and it's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, okay? So this means that if we water the other seeds, they also can become bigger, right? So the more we practice love, the more we practice joy, the more we practice mindfulness, these can become bigger as well, okay? And ultimately, we want to create a situation over here that these seeds are the ones that are much bigger than the anger seed, okay? I'm talking in very simplistic terms over here, all right? So how do we do this now, okay? We do this simply by watering these seeds. And the way that we water these is by practicing these, by practicing mindfulness, by practicing meditation, by practicing compassion, by practicing joy. It is through the practice that the watering will happen and the seed will grow, essentially, okay? So to answer the question, can somebody who is really angry, let's say you're in a relationship and you have a problem with a partner that just can't control their temper, right? Can they change? Yes, they can change. They definitely can change, okay? So that's really good news. But there is a really big but, okay? They can only change, right, if you change, if we change. They can only change if you and me change, okay? Because we cannot be speaking about this to other people, right? Trying to tell somebody, don't be angry. Yeah, that's anger in itself, right? Unless we change first, essentially. That person needs to be inspired by your behavior. They need to, feed off the energy that you are giving off. If you are giving off the energy of peace, of love, of, contentment and patience, then that's the energy they're going to feel. But if you're just erratically saying, why are you always angry at me? Don't get angry at me. I'm tired of this. Like, you get what I mean? That's the energy that's going to transfer, okay? So can somebody change? Yes, they can. How can they change? First, we must change ourselves, okay? And once we change ourselves, then we can kind of teach them through love, through compassion. Remember, the person who is angry, the person who is, always losing their temper, they are suffering. They are suffering within. I've been that person, because when you're not happy with yourself or something in your life, how can you be happy with those around you, right? They are suffering, and the only antidote to their anger, to their suffering is love and compassion. That is the only thing that is going to win ultimately, okay? So we must practice it ourselves first. Now, in tomorrow's video, I'm going to share with you a fantastic, really cool, really practical exercise that you can practice with, yourself and your partner or somebody from your family, right? On how to deal with anger. So watch out for that. If you haven't subscribed to this channel already, then do so you get essentially access to all these videos and notifications. But that is it for today. Thank you for watching. Namaste.